Let's take a look at the Google Cloud Platform. Uh, Once you've registered and logged in, and you probably used your Gmail account, you'll come to a screen something like this. Take a minute to look around. And first is see how much money you have in your account. So click on the little hamburger, and when we pull that out, I'm going to scroll up here and I'm going to go to billing. And in billing, it should give you how much time you have left and how much money you have in the account and what projects this billing account is linked to. Probably a good idea to set up some alerts, and these alerts will let you know when your account is being will arrive at certain triggers. So if you've gone through half of the money or 90% or 100% of the money, you can receive a message saying so. Now to get here, you can go to Google and you can search for Google Cloud Console, and it should bring you to your window. So in case you're having trouble finding it. When you're working with Google Cloud, what you'll probably do is go and make your own project. By default, your first project is my first project, but later on you'll go in and you'll start making your own project. And what you will add to these are probably things like virtual machines, set up a database server. You may add some, enable some APIs. We can go over that later. And set up some tools. How are you going to access this? We'll be using Python to program some of these things later. So you can go through this console to set things up. You can really customize this any way that you want. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and do something. Let's see. One of the things that is immediately available to us is something that's pretty amazing. It is called BigQuery. And what you can do is that you can search through huge databases. Now, you can upload your own, but there are some examples that already come with BigQuery. And let's take a look at one of those. So I'm going to go to, what I did is I went to the hamburger, scrolled down, and I chose BigQuery. And here are some of the databases that already come with BigQuery. And these are some pretty huge databases. And what we're going to do is that we're going to search through one of these and pull up some information. Now again, if you have your own database filled with information that you want to look through, you can upload that and use BigQuery to search through. Now you want to be careful because billing is per query, I do believe. So if it's through every time you ask a question of the database, it charges you. So be careful, since we're just in practice mode, that you don't burn up too much money running too many queries or questions. Now, I'm going to see if there's a tutorial on this. And let's see if they got a BigQuery tutorial. I know they do here somewhere. Let's see. Now wait. Go back here. And BigQuery quick start guide. Here we go. Okay. So before you begin, select your cloud platform project that you want to work with. Make sure that you've enabled billing for that. and enable the API. So you need to get all of those done before you get. So enable the API. Create a project. Click the drop down and let me put it in. My first project. And continue. Enabling the API. The API is enabled. BigQuery API has been enabled. Next, use the API and you'll need the right credentials. So go to credentials and find out which credentials you need. I'm using one or both of these, App Engine or Compute Engine. Okay. What credentials do I need? You don't need to create new credentials. I already have some credentials set up. Okay. So if I didn't, I'm guessing it would let me do that here. Okay. Done. Okay. Back here to the quick start and go to the BigQuery UI. Okay. Already done that. Copy and paste the following query into the new. Okay, so I'm going to copy this to the clipboard. I'm going to click this, and I've copied this to the clipboard. Okay. Now, this is a select statement. Now, if you haven't worked with databases before, database is just a collection of information. You need to know how to pull all that information out. You need to know you don't want all of the information at once. You want to go in and selectively pull out certain pieces of information, and a select statement can do that. And this is called SQL. So an example, if you've never used this before, would be, and let me get something to draw with. Say you go to the grocery store and you just want to, out of that grocery store with all of those different products, you just want to go get apples. What you would do is you would go to the table where there are apples. So from the table that has apples, you want to select the ones with a certain weight. Maybe you wanted to know what state they're from. You only wanted the ones from a certain state. What the year was for the apples, and how long they had been in the store. So those are the things that you'd want. So out of this entire store, what you do is you go to the table with the apples. You select the apples with these different properties, and when you put them in your cart, you order them, or you arrange them, these apples by weight. So you would get the biggest apple, and then next to that you would put the next biggest apple, and you'd arrange those. You'd order those by the weight, and you don't want to get all the apples, so you're going to limit yourself to just getting 10 apples. So when you execute this SQL, that's what's happening, is that you go to a particular place in the database, you indicate what you want to pull out of that database, and then if you want to display it in any particular way, and if you want to limit how many of these things that you get, that's what you would do. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I've copied that, And now I want to go back to my BigQuery, and I'm going to click on compose my query. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that in there. And now I'm going to run my query. And let's time it. That was around 3 seconds. And how much information did I go through? 3.5 gigabytes of information was processed to pull up these results in a matter of seconds. And so that's what we got. And and this is apparently a natality table with information about birth and weights, from which state, what year, gestation in weeks. Okay. So that's what we did. You can quickly pull up whatever information you're looking for from these huge tables. Pretty cool thing to have. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, let's try one more example. And what I'm going to do is that we're going to see if we can recognize a picture. So this is going to be I'm going to do the tutorial on Cloud Vision API. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one. And I'm going to walk through this one. This tutorial walks you through a basic Vision API, and it's a label using a label detection request. So what it's going to do is it's going to look at a picture and label it and see if it can label it correctly. Okay, so let's see if this works. So continue on. And it says, which project do you want to do this with? And my first project works. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on. And the project must enable the Vision API to accept request. And the API manager sets the API as an API is application programming interface, and it's just a set of code which allows you to do something. And in this case, it's going to let us look at pictures. Okay, so I'm going to go open the menu on the left-hand side and select APIs and Services, and click on this, and it says the menu is over here, so I click on that, and let's see where this is at. There it is, APIs and Services. I'll go to the dashboard. And so to enable the APIs, click the Enable API, which is right here. And select the Vision API. Yeah, let's see if we can find the Vision API. Google Cloud Vision API. Go ahead and select that and enable that. Now again, whenever you enable something, you have to check and keep an eye on the balance of your account, because we're spending money, or potentially spending money. So it's going to enable that API. Okay, pretty quick. And that's it. It's continued, so now we can use that. Continue. And open the Cloud Shell, which is this little icon up here. Now, we can run this from this from this menu, but this one we can do from it's called the Cloud Shell. It's a way of entering in commands to whatever you're doing. If you can do it through the Cloud Shell, you can also do the same things through programming. So you could write Python code to do all of these same things. But we're going to use the Cloud Shell for this. Okay, launch the shell, and the shell is not GUI at all, it's text-based. Okay, welcome to the Cloud Shell. Okay, and it creates, when it did that, it created some sample code for us to use. And what we need to do is copy this code. I'm going to copy this to the clipboard, and then I'm going to go over here, okay, and paste it. Let me read the instructions first. Use the Cloud Shell to clone and navigate to the Hello World code. Okay. The sample code is cloned from your project repository to the Cloud Shell. Okay. Okay. So copy that. I'm going to paste it in here and run that. Okay. And let's go get the copy to the clipboard. Let's see if this will send us to the location where the tutorial is at. Clone GitHub repository. Okay, cloning, copy, and looks like it's off and running. Okay, and let's do this. And this is the tutorial, and hopefully I got that copied. Okay. Quick start. So let's go ahead and run that. Alright. So we're just a revision. Quick start. Looks like that's worked okay. Alright. You're now in the main directory of the sample code. We'll look at the files that configure your application and exploring the application. So enter the following command to view your application code. So I'm going to copy that. Okay, copy to the clipboard. I'm going to put that in here and paste that. Okay, and there's the code. So if I were to scroll up, I would see all this Python code which runs, okay, the Vision API. All right, good deal. Let's see. Okay, requests to Vision API are provided as JSON. JSON is just a way to its output when a program runs and it sends something back. What kind of format does it send it in? JSON is one of those. And our JSON request is only sent when we call execute. Okay, this pattern allows you to pass around such a request and call execute as needed. All right, continue on. Okay. We need to create a service account key, and then set your key as the default. All right, I'm going to get that and paste that in here. Okay. Created service account. Looks like everything passed. Okay. So it looks like we're ready to go. Okay. Let's see. We're ready to run our Python program. Let's see what image our program is going to be looking at. View image. Open this in a new tab. Let's see. Okay, so our program is going to look at this picture and say what this creature is. Well, let's see if it can do it. See if it can identify what that thing is. Okay, so copy this. And I'm going to click here and paste that in and run it. And let's see if that works. And here's what it did. It output, this is a cat, and also in the picture there's a photo caption. It's in the category of small to medium-sized cats, and the cat, like a mammal, has whiskers, has a snout. It recognized all that. Kitten, Asian. Okay, well, I didn't know that. Let's go back and look at that. Is that an Asian cat? All right, I don't know. Okay, looks like it worked. So we have a program, and we can copy that code into our program, and we can have a program which will recognize images. Okay, also pretty cool. I'll stop it there.